Hey everybody, this is a quick one today. It was a thought experiment I had yesterday with the team from CyberBulls. And I have a list of 48 Tesla catalysts. I just picked the top 12 or 15 and asked the team to estimate the probability of the impact that they have on the 2026 stock price and, of course, the incremental price impact on today. And I thought it would be a very interesting test exercise to run through. And that's what we did. But we went through pretty fast on the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the rationale behind it. Then we're going to go through the live video with the CyberBulls I did yesterday, which came out today. Shout out to Xander and Herbert and Jeff, gurus in the space. And then I will analyze the actual data so you can come up with your own price targets for 2026. So let's go. And thank you all for coming. Yes, and of course, this is not financial advice. Nobody knows what the future holds.
Let's go to the next major topic here, which is all these different catalysts that could come up, and let's play the game. So this is from you, James. You said let's have fun. Let's figure out what we think as a group here. So you've got this spreadsheet you put together. You called it the bingo card in the honor of CERN's bingo card for railway taxis that we did last week.
Yep.
Okay.
And in full disclosure, I don't know what a bingo card is or what it looks like until that. So I decided to create kind of a better one. Yeah, I have no idea. Never played bingo. Never been to a bingo hole. If a bingo card hit me in the face, I wouldn't know what it looks like or what it is.
Missing out, dude. Missing out. All right.
So I was just like this long list of catalysts is actually 48 long, but I just picked some of the top ones. I don't know if there's a dozen or 15. I did it in a rush before we came live. And I thought it would be good to go around the horn with everybody here and determine, okay, first of all, what are the top catalysts? Okay, we had 8.8 now moved to October. That's obviously going to be a big one. FSD adoption tipping point, 10%. Optimus production, 2,000 next year, working in factory, that would be huge. And by the way, these are catalysts assuming out to 2026 and the impact on share price. Because the question I get a lot from people, investors, is what's the share price going to be in 2026? Everybody's anchoring on 2026. We expect a lot of tailwinds to hit right then. And I'd like to hear from the brain trust here on this, how you rank them. What impact would each of these catalysts be by 2026 on share price from where we are today? And the probability of it happening. So I got low, medium, and high, say 20% chance, 50% chance is medium, 20% is low, 80% is high. And then we can create a composite score of the impact on price, averaging it all out. So I thought it'd be a fun little exercise and also fun for the audience to understand exactly more about what Tesla is. Because I talk about 12 tailwinds, 12 individual business units, 12 profit centers all the time. And people kind of get tripped up because they think it's a car company. So I thought it'd be a useful exercise.
It is a very good, useful exercise. I like it. What's your reaction, Xander?
I was just jotting down that this is the difference between analysts and retail shareholders. They're looking at what's in front of their face, and James here is looking into the future. Right. And so, I think it'll take, I'd like the spreadsheet and some time to play with it. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So we're not going to be able to fill it out here. I thought we could.
Live? It'll take
forever. It'll take 5 minutes. I literally punched in all my numbers and percentages and minutes because the percentage is low, medium, high, and $20, $50, $10, 0. Whatever. Okay. I'm actually going to start with. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want to punch in your own numbers, or should I do it for you?
Sure. You punch it in if it's easier. Okay. So Robotaxi reveal 8.8. Probability is high, right? It's going to happen. That's going to happen. Now it's October, but the impact on share price, I say 0.
Okay.
Are you talking about afterwards or during? Right. I still think afterwards is 0.
Right.
That's okay. So I do think that autonomy will start being a part of the share price, but it won't be just because of that. Adoption rate tipping 10%. Again, that's very high. Probability, again, is very high. Impact share price. I don't know. Is there what's a medium? What's a small? Like instead of saying $0, can I?
Yeah. That's up to you. I mean, look, I say, imagine it's a $250 stock, 240, 237 now. Say
So if
250.
it's 250 now. Yeah. Let's say 250
impact,
now.
like a 10% impact on price, that'd be $25.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. See, I don't think it's going to be more than like $5, $10, okay, for the adoption rate. Optimus production ramping, 12 working gigafactory, 2,000 next year. So when it's 2,000 next year, that's the big one for me. That's, for me, I think that the world will wake up. When you see 500 bots working in the factory, even if it's Tesla's bot, I still think that the world will wake up and realize this is massive. I give this a high probability, first of all, because I feel very confident that they'll make the high numbers by next year. I think that they're going to complete by next year. I think that gives them time, and I'll give this, honestly, for me, I don't know. I'll say if it's 250 today, I'll say 150, just because of this. The argument that I've had from everybody is it doesn't matter if Tesla does it in-house until they sell it, until it's becoming a sold and they have a price point. It doesn't make a difference. I think differently, but that's me. I love bot. Tesla Model 2 reveal, $25,000 price. If it truly is $25,000 price, it truly is the Model 2. It's a big one. That's the big one. I think it's a high probability. I just don't know when. It could be 2 years late for this particular one, because they're doing the affordable models first. This comes late. So I give this one, if it happens, $150. Like, it'll be at least 50% jump, if not, like that. Energy storage hitting 25% of profits. I think it's high probability that that's going to happen. Again, I don't know when, right? But when it does, I think it's going to be by that point built in. How would you recognize it's a slow thing? It's not like in the moment that happens. So again, I'll give it 100 or maybe less. The OEM license contracts, that is huge. So I would give it another big thing that converts everything from to a software company. That's the big one, another big one. So I'll give it 100. Autonomous driving regulation approval, I'll give that a 75. That's, again, that means once you've got.
That's very big.
Out of 250,
nothing to FSD adoption.
No, FSD adoption, I give nothing to, but autonomous driving regulation, that means you've got a true commercialized, actual, it's happening.
They're going to get that in China. That's a given, in my opinion.
So if it's just approval for testing, then that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual commercialization, right? Yep. Yeah. Tesla energy expansion beyond 10 gigawatt, again, small. By that point, it would have been built in. Major macro recovery, that's pretty decent. I'd say give it a 50 out of 250, 20% jump. Tesla Model Y refresh, I guess nothing. I know it's the greatest car, but it's built in. Tesla semi-ramp, nothing, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. Just, I don't think it's exciting enough for anybody to care. Earnings report, if anything, it's going to go down. Even if it's a flat report, unless it surprises, I think it's going to be nothing. Tesla Master Plan 4, nothing. Giga Texas AI Center, unfortunately, it's nothing until people see it actually delivers. I mean, here, Elon already showed the video. Approval for manufacturing in India. I'll give that a small bump, 30, 50 maybe. And in Cyberduck production, it's already number one. Nothing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
and the breaking news this week was Cybertruck production is not only the number one selling EV truck, but also the number one selling 6-digit plus category vehicle.
Doesn't matter
in the US.
Doesn't matter. So, okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Who's next?
This is why I love these exercises, because you get understand where the anchor points for the different people. Yeah. Jeff, you're going to be on fire on this one. And we'll let Xander, we are going to put Xander on the spot. Xander, is that okay with you? After hearing all this good stuff?
Sure.
You can run counter, or you can start filling it in now. Jeff, you're up, buddy.
Yeah, I filled it in.
Oh, you did? Oh, my
you
goodness.
did?
That's your honors student.
Crap.
Look at
you guys. Okay, so how do we do this? Do we hide these so we can see?
No, we'll leave them in because it calculates the composite score for all of us. So
but if I hide it, then we can see it, right? Let's just hide these guys first, and then I can move this across so we can see what he did. You know what I mean?
Editors. Yep.
I don't know.
But we can't see Xander now.
But okay, yes. Bring it back. We'll bring it back.
Jeff, anything you want to walk in? Actually, no, it's good having it hidden like that. Jeff, you want to talk about why you have very strong conviction on some of these things and how significant they are to the business? Because I think that's what I'm really trying to get at here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to assign dollar values to these things, but I think the more important thing is the probability of them happening. So, I mean, Tesla is going to reveal its robotaxi plans and a physical prototype, I believe, this year. So I have high probability on that happening. There's a lot of run up that has been. One of the questions or comments I have about these events is there's been run up along the way. So it's like, would you say like, is this like the impact on price during the run up, or is this the impact on the day of the event? I'm not trying to be like overly specific, but that's why I have pretty low share impact on some of these things, because I think the event itself may be less momentous than people think. But I do believe we're showing a robotaxi, but there's been a lot that's built into the price already. The adoption rate, nobody knows the adoption rate. I hate this metric. The only time that I love the metric, I don't like the reporting of it. The only known adoption rate that we know is when Tesla reports how many cars are in the fleet and how many people downloaded it. I see people using data from like Europe and China. I'm like, they don't even have FSD beta. So the last time, Tesla has been reporting much higher numbers, over 20% adoption when you look at the size of the fleet and the amount of people downloading the app. So, but anyway, I didn't assign a big dollar figure on it. The Optimus piece, to me, it's a little bit of a coin flip for next year, but do I think that they can produce 2,000 units? Probably throughout the development process, they'll do that easily. So that's why I did that. I think it is a big deal. But
remember,
it's kind of
$20 is a big deal, Jeff. Come on,
but
dude.
But Jeff, remember, this is for 2026 impact, not for next year. This is for
I didn't read that.
On share price for 2026.
Okay,
$80.
I want to revise.
Then I reserve the right to maybe change my impact on share price. Probably $100.
There you go.
Yes. There you go. Yes, Jeff. Thank you. There you go.
I didn't know. I thought it was like next year. So
no, it's very, very difficult to predict a year out, but 2 years out, a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think it's going to take Tesla a year just to get the 25K car to sell it at 25K. But I'm highly confident they'll be able to do it. Energy storage, pretty confident on, but it's been kind of starting to get built into the number.
Major Jeff, OEM 100% probability. You have been saying this for so long. 100%.
There's lots of rumors, in fairness, about it. Now there's rumors. There was that fake rumor about Buick. Buick, that's nonsense. But there is that Chinese maker, what do they call, WeChow or something? What's the name of the firm?
That's another Jeff cast right there. That's a Jeff cast right there. 100% probability of an OEM licensing.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this year.
But it's okay. Yeah.
It's going to happen this year. Yeah. Right. So I think that's a big deal. And I think by the way, you've seen the announcements from multiple companies that in their next version of their vehicles, they're removing LiDAR and they're going vision only. So they're actually starting to prep through the development process. Now, the Chinese are able to do this stuff in like 12 to 14 months, where it takes other auto manufacturers 3 years to build some of this stuff in. So, but anyway, it's going to happen. I'm very confident.
Well, I have you all here. Jim Farley from Ford said they'd have autonomous vehicles in 2 years. Do you think that would be the first big license with Tesla?
I do. I actually think it will be with Ford. I think what companies do in these situations is they have a team running in one direction, and then they have an insurance policy. And some people may go in the comments, that never happens. It absolutely happens. And at some point, Ford has looked at the burn rate of the development of what they're currently doing. They're going to look at the progress, like the milestones and how mature it's becoming, and they're going to look at the burn rate and how much they're spending. Same thing with GM. GM's been looking at the progress. They've been looking at the burn rate, and guess what they've been doing? They've been slashing the hell out of Cruise. That's what all these companies are going to do. And at some point, they're going to see the progress of Tesla. They're going to see their own progress. They're going to see their own burn rate, and they're going to say, well, I can cut my burn rate and I can get a better product through a license. Why wouldn't I do that? So I think that's going to happen, but Tesla's got to hit their milestones. And, I think this will happen. I think it's one of the biggest things on the sheet. The regulatory approval, I think that's going to differ by region, but I think it's going to happen. The energy expansion, I think that's already happening. Beyond 10 gigawatt hours per quarter, you're going to have that, I think, in each individual site. I'd be shocked if the Shanghai site, isn't capable of 50 or 60 when it launches. The macro recovery, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends. I mean, we're kind of in this precarious situation with macro. If we get a bad jobs report, who knows where that ultimately goes.
I think, and in fairness, a huge part of that for me is the fact that we saw what happens when they cut the rates on vehicles and how quickly they sell them.
Yes.
This is what this ties into. And we know the precarious situation the US government debt is in, et cetera. So they're going to have to cut rates fast. And if there's a new regime in place come next year, it'll go to zero again pretty quick. ZERP will be back. So
we'll do a 50-point basis cut in September. You heard it here on Herbert's show first.
I believe that too.
Another Jeff
sure
cast.
That. Yeah,
50%, 50 basis point. That's you are okay. I'll make a comment after you finish. Just go.
And Jeff, we got to go to Vegas together, and we'll show our convictions on the craps table because you are just all in.
Craps. That's what that is.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Oh, the peanut gallery. Let's quiet down in the peanut gallery back there. I was yapping during your Herbert casting of robots running the show already. So Model Y refresh, it's going to happen. I mean, it's a question of timing, but we heard it's not this year. That's fine. I think I don't know if it's going to have a huge impact on the stock price. I think what's going to have an impact on the stock price is shipping more variants of the 3 and Y at lower price points, and I think that's what these interim vehicles are going to be. The semi ramp, it's 2 years in the making. I'm not being critical. I just don't know if it's going to have this moment. I think the semi business will have an impact, but maybe by 2026, I should probably assign a higher dollar figure to that. We got to look at the charging infrastructure too and make sure that's in place. 723, it depends. I mean, if the stock stays back here, in the 230 to 240 range, I think you could get a jump if earnings are good. Or then you retest the 200-day. Master Plan Part 4, I didn't assign anything to it in terms of dollar value. The AI data center, similar, like low value but high probability. Not low value, like I think it's the greatest thing that Tesla is doing, but like I don't know how you directly tie it to it. I think India is going to happen, higher probability, but it's more of like when Tesla's ready, and they can produce product in a number of regions and serve a number of regions before that. And then Cybertruck production, I think it's already happening in terms of it being the number one electric truck. But it'd be interesting to see how the market values it. And it'll be interested to see, why did Tesla extend the Foundation series? Again, to be constructive, like we're not always like just bulled up and whatever on the show. I actually think that they need a little bit more time to get down the cost curve on that.
Yep. Excellent stuff. Xander,
so
talk to us.
Quick comment from the peanut gallery. So Jeff has 6 things that he gives 100% accurate probability on. People think I'm the bull. And like, listen, I did not give that probability for 100% for any of them. And then now the share price, I don't like to give share price. In fact, I don't ever give any kind of share price kind of.
You just like to ask everyone else.
Yes, I do, but I don't give it myself. So people think, oh my God, Herbert is like, he's got this bull. I go find, unless I'm forced to a corner, like I'm now, like being said, hey, please put the number. I'll put in the number, but I don't really do this. But Jeff also has very low numbers, which is very interesting. So high probabilities, low numbers. All right.
None of this is investment advice.
Yes.
Except Herbert's.
Yeah.
So actually, the interesting thing is when you add this all up, it adds about $235 to the existing share price. So they take the share price in 2026 to $460, which is not beyond the realm of possible. So that's what I think that's interesting. But Xander, you want to go on the spot?
Sure. Robotaxi reveal 100%.
Work it out.
But yeah, you got it. You got it. The share price, I don't know, $30 since we just removed 30 or 35 from it. Adoption rate tipping 10%. When are we going to even know whether it's below 10 or above 10 now? I have no idea.
And I didn't really explain many of these points that I had, but if you imagine a fleet of 6 million, 7 million cars, that means 600,000 cars paying $100 a month, which turns into a SaaS company. And that's really interesting for me. That's where this question is coming from. It will happen. And that's where it makes sense to make cars. And we're not even talking robotaxis too. And there could be a SaaS element to the robotaxi as well. You may have to pay a fee or share revenue when that time comes. So this is probably one of the most key things. I'm surprised it got very little attention for you guys. I added $40 for this, but only a 20% chance it's going to happen by 2026.
Yeah, I think that, first of all, the eligible fleet isn't that many cars. So by that point, is it 6 million? I think that's what you're doing, projecting it. Yeah, I think it's going to be material. This is the entire bet is that autonomy starts producing SaaS revenue, as you say. So, is it going to happen by 2026, 10%? I think so. I think it can happen in 25 if depending on what they announce. I give that a 100% probability, but share price is kind of difficult to figure out what Tesla looks like in 26 and what percentage of this contributes. So I don't know, say $20. Optimus production ramping, I give that 50%. That will be by 2000 or more. If we're ramping, $50, I think is fair. Energy storage hitting 25%. Yeah, very, very confident on that. So maybe another $100. I skipped Model 2. Sorry. Model 2 reveal by 26 and a 25K car. Yeah, it's, it is a part of the business. So I give that. I like your Herbert's numbers there, 80% and maybe like $100 to the stock price, because the unit volume is going to increase significantly. OEM licensed. I mean, if Jeff says 100%, how do I argue against that? So,
what?
So yeah, just copy Jeff's numbers.
How you argue against any of mine? You should just cut and paste the columns over and just.
I was gonna say that.
Be one answer. This is like North Korea, dear leader kind of stuff. Just kidding. You're allowed to have your own opinions.
No, I don't. I like copying answers. I'm always the dumbest one in the room. I'm just see what
who says that
the smartest people think, and then copy it. But yeah, I think that's going to be material to the stock. So let's say 50. Autonomous driving regulation. I don't know if that's 100. I'd say like 30% that occurs by 26. Like blanket, all U.S. or entire world? What are we saying?
In cities that matter,
in cities that matter.
That's the way I look at it, because you only want these things running in big cities, the Chicago's, the New York's, San Francisco's, LA's, maybe parts of Texas, Beijing, Shanghai, who knows where.
Yeah,
that's where it matters.
Okay. Yeah, I think once regulation, it'll remove some of the doubt. So maybe let's say $25. Tesla Energy scale and expansion beyond 10 gigawatt hour. Yeah, I think that's with those.
Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'd say 50%. I don't know if it's let's say $50, because if we start scaling, I think that when Elon shows the chart of, or when you think about the company becoming an energy company, that'll be a larger piece. of the company. So macro recovery and interest rate drop by 26. I think it'll we have a greater than 50%, so let's say like 60, and interest rate drops are going to happen. So that's going to change the DCF. So I'd say $50. Model Y refresh. That's definitely going to happen. So 100%. Best car on earth, even better. Is it going to move the stock? Yeah, let's say $20. Semi ramp, I am excited. I had that on my notes that we started building and looking at the flyover videos. So I think that in terms of financials for the business, it's they're going to be using batteries for it, but that does imply that battery ramp is coming up. So yeah, I'll copy yours, James. $20, 50% that we have a ramp happening in 26. I think, but hopefully mid 25 we start seeing it producing. Earnings report. Yeah, I agree with Herbert here. It's gonna drop, but actually I've been saying prior to this big run up that the energy is going to surprise. So I think that, and that's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing analysts come out with reports, and Adam Jonas and all of these things. So, but yeah, let's just leave it as there'll be a slight pullback because it's priced in. So master plan part 4, I think 100% we see it. What's in it? No idea. Give it $0. AI Center. I think that Amazon moment is going to come at some point, but by 2026, I don't think you're going to have like that much excess compute that you can monetize it yet. But it's Tesla, so it's hard to say. So I'll say 100% that it'll happen, but how much revenue? I have no idea on that one. And then approval for manufacturing in India.
Or Indonesia or Argentina, whatever.
Or any of the... yeah, just whatever Jeff said on that one, since he's a supply chain king. Cybertruck production, number one, it already is. I think it'll be ramped by 26, and you're going to have, if the cost, you're going to have the single motor selling. It's going to get a lot of traction. So I think it'll be material. So maybe $25 to the stock with 100% that we're going to be selling lots of trucks. I have no doubt, especially in the US.
Well, the conclusion then, we are adding the average of all of us, and these probabilities will add $340 to stock price, which will take us to $570 by 2026.
Where do I see that?
I just added up the composite deltas at the end.
Okay.
And again, if you add them all up from all of us, and it was interesting. We'll dig more into this as to how we differ. I'll run some analytics on it, but I think it was an interesting exercise, because for all those that keep on asking me, what's the price going to be in 2026? Because I got leaps going out till then, or how much am I going to make? There you go. It'll be.
You need the wisdom of the crowds. You need lots of people to submit this, but actually I heard that only 7 people is what you actually, just the minimum number of people. So if you ask people what's the price of a 747 jumbo jet, and you ask 7 people, you actually get, close enough.
It's awesome.
Thank you for doing that, James. I love it that you always come with these, spreadsheets and charts. Thank you. Appreciate you coming here. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Xander. I called you Alexander. Xander.
This was the bingo card I put together. And you can see here the breakdown of some of the things that I chose. I thought would be interesting to focus on. Things like the robotaxi reveal, which has been postponed to October, out 2 months. FSD adoption rate tipping 10%, and the impact that would have on the SaaS business model. Optimus production ramping, moving to maybe 2,000 bots working in gigafactories next year. What will happen when the world sees that in 2026? Happening in 2025. It should be reflected in stock price by 2026. Tesla Model 2 reveal, $25,000 price. Energy storage hitting 25% of the bottom line attribution, i.e. profits. And then a major OEM licensing FSD from Tesla. That's going to be huge. We have seen some signs of that. A Chinese company, Ford, a whole bunch will typically hit. Once one falls, they'll all fall, and that will be huge for the price. Then you have autonomous driving regulation approval. What happens when robotaxis are blessed? Tesla energy scale expansion beyond 10 gigawatt hour per Megapack factory per quarter. What happens if it goes to 12? Interesting discussion. What happens if it goes to 15? Then macro recovery, interest rate cuts, the impact that will have on the business, Tesla Model Y refresh, Tesla semi-truck ramp, earnings report and earnings surprises, Tesla Master Plan Part 4, Giga Texas, AI Center impact on price, and approval for a new Giga, either in India, Indonesia, Argentina, we don't know where. What impact would that have? And Cybertruck production. It is the number one truck already. It's also the number one selling car that's more than $100,000 in the US. Super interesting times. So let's analyze very quickly before we get into the actual numbers, the output from each analyst. And I thought this is very interesting. So I'm going to lay out where each analyst believes most juice will come from, and then we'll analyze the impact on stock price. So first of all, Jeff's key drivers were, he assigned 100% probability. He was extremely bullish and extremely high conviction, which blew me away, on FSD adoption tipping 10% of the fleet. So if you have 7 million cars, that means 700,000 cars will pay $99 a month for FSD. And that will have an impact of about $20 on the share price. Then Optimus production ramping. Jeff predicts a $100 impact on the share price with an 80% probability for Optimus production ramping up to 12,000 units in gigafactories. And this is a strong belief in Tesla robotics and automation capabilities. Again, 80% probability, which is very high, $100 impact. Then we had the Tesla Model 2 reveal. Jeff also assigned 100% probability to the Model 2 reveal and a $40 price impact on the shares by 2026. Energy storage. Jeff foresees a $50 impact with a 100% probability for energy storage hitting 25% of BLA and highlighting the potential of this division. There is, as I say, infinite demand for these megapacks, especially considering the AI revolution and data center needs. Then we have OEM license contracts. Jeff assigns yet again another 100% probability with a $50 impact for OEM license contracts. Contracts plural, indicating again strategic partnerships. FSE is the go-to solution. It will be licensed by other firms, and that will really, between that and FSD, actually subscriptions, and then OEM licensing, it becomes a software company. It becomes repriced, re-underwritten, recategorized. So thank you, Jeff, for that. Next, Herbert. He had a little bit of a different slant. Optimus was his big bogey. Impact, $150, probability 80% by 2026. Model 2 reveal, $150 impact, 80% probability. Energy storage, $100 impact, 80% probability. So Herbert became the hyperbull out here as well. And he is, of course, highly optimistic about Optimus production ramping, assigning that big impact. Major OEM license, $100 stock price, 80% probability. And autonomous driving regulation approval, $50 impact, 80% probability. So again, wait for the composite score at the very end where I bring all of this together. Next, we have Xander's outlook. Xander believes the Optimus production ramping, again, $100 impact, 80% probability. He is very optimistic about Optimus production ramping up and assigns that high probability. Model 2, also $100 impact, 80% probability. Energy storage, $50 impact, 80% probability. OEM license, $50, 80%. And autonomous driving, $50, 80%. But Xander did say it was very difficult to predict these things out to the future. Also, my outlook, I actually ended up being the most conservative of everybody, believe it or not. So people think I'm the hyperbull guy. Nope, not in this case. So now, that's my big ones were Optimus, impact $150, probability 50%. You know, this thing could take a little bit longer. I am very optimistic, but how big we get, how fast is the question. Tesla Model 2 reveal, $50, probability 50%. You can see my probabilities are a lot lower than the other fellows. Also, the energy storage, I'm very bullish on energy, but $50 impact, 50% price. And major OEM license, similar as well. But the real juice comes in the end. Let's break this down. This is what I call the sum of the parts target. And basically, if you add up all of these parts and you create a composite score, and we added to the price, at the time we did this analysis, the price of Tesla was $240. It adds $340 in incremental juice. But what's interesting is you can see very clearly Optimus, Model 2, Megapack, OEM licenses got a lot of the attention. Now we can break that down a little bit further. This is the actual scorecard here across all of the key items and the probabilities. And what you can see here, you take the impact on share price, you multiply it by the probability. For example, Robotaxi reveal, I say $50 impact by 2026. Remember, not on the reveal date. This is all for 2026 price predictions. So if you say, I say $50 times 50% probability, you divide that by 4, you get the impact on share price, and everybody is allocated the same weighting of a 25% vote. So that's how this model actually works. And all of the different pieces add up to $340.44. You can see the biggest impact, which was kind of surprising, was Tesla Model 2, the $25K car. For everybody, had the most impact, $63. Number 2 in the box was the was the energy storage, hitting 25% of profits, $52. Number 3 was Optimus, $51. Unless, of course, you were Jeff or Herbert, then it is much, much bigger. That was the winner for them. And you can see that here where the heat is. So, for example, Herbert, bots, big, big red chunk. Whereas Jeff is green. You can see where he put a lot of his weight as well. Now, adding all those up, I think, let me see, third in the box, we had energy storage, and fourth is major OEM license for FSD. That is big. And then the rest of the stuff actually does add up, but not as much as you would think, with very little going to things like the semi-ramp, which I thought, I'm quite bullish on that. But again, we'll see. Earnings report, Master Plan Part 4, the AI Center, not much happening. Now, there is the final piece. This is the attribution, the sum of the parts price target, where it all came from. If you add up our composite scores, the winner is Model 2, adding $63 to the stock price by 2026. As I mentioned, number 2 is Megapack, number 3 is Optimus, and number 4 is OEM license. Number 5 is the macro, i.e. interest rates falling and the economy getting bigger. So if you add those together, $580 by 2026 is the belief. And per our layer model, which is kind of interesting, that expects about a 565 by 2026. So there's a little bit of confidence, 580, 565. I think it's a very safe bet to think that is possible as long as Tesla can execute. Now let's talk about a couple of other little models that we didn't really get into during the video, but I did estimate by 2029, based on the updated data from the Megapack business, that business alone could be worth $1.7 trillion by 2029, not 2026. And that would be a $519 stock price just on the Megapack business alone. Just that alone, which is stunning to think of. And then when you think about bots, this is some Tesla economics, really interesting, a simple ratio per data that's out there. And I thought it was a very nice way of framing it up and how bots could generate $1 trillion in profit per year. But again, we could be talking 2032 here or even later. But Elon believes ratio of humanoid bots being 2 to 1. So approximately 10 billion, maybe 16 billion, depending on birth rates, etc. Maybe less, maybe higher. And the build rate of bots on Earth will be 1 billion bots per year. Tesla will take a 10% market share of that. They will be the leader. And Tesla will be producing 100 million Optimus units per year. And Optimus will sell for $20,000 at a cost of 10 at large scale volume, making 1 trillion in profit per year. The question is, when does that happen? And if that does happen, or when that does happen, and you own some Tesla shares, it will be very special. Hope you liked the show. Thank you as well to the team at CyberBulls. I thought this warranted a little more explaining my methodology for the bingo card part 2. And hopefully we can still take this. Remember, I've got 48 catalysts. This only covered a small fraction of them. So there's a lot more to come. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.